Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, welcome to Let's Play. This week we are touching base on mechwarrior online once again. I haven't done this in quite a while, so I'm gonna go over some of the stuff that's changed over time. Those of you guys that have been playing this game for a very long time, you probably noticed by now that things are slowly changing in this game. They're changing big time. You're seeing less and less people playing faction play, and more people playing standard quick play or the event queues when they pop up, like they are right now. The reason why the event queues are up is because the game, before the game was released, during the beta stage, they had a 1 versus 1 Solaris added to the game automatically. And instead of abandoning that function, they hid the function for years. They hid it and never used it. The reason why is because if they introduced that function to this game when it first came out, less people would play this and more people would play that, and this would fall apart. You have to understand, this was part of the game. This is part of the storyline. This is part of the Battletech universe. So this is the most important thing in this game's history. So to just leave this abandoned would be ridiculous, and to not include it in the game would be ridiculous. So they gave it a chance, gave people a chance to enjoy it, and yes, a lot of people played it, a lot of people loved it. But this game's been around for a very long time and they wanted something different. So they as you know, they still keep it. They just need people to play it. Ever so slowly, they're starting to introduce 1v1s, 2v2s, that type of stuff as event queues. For example, this event is up. It's a 2v2 skirmish, 15-minute match. And if you notice, you're not launching 4 people. You're not launching you're launching 1 mech out. Now, eventually down the road, back in the past, I'd have to say middle of last year, they did a Solaris. They did an extreme test run. The type of test run that they asked us to do in the second beta test. And that's when we, the second beta testers, said, listen, if you do not help the faction play push forward, you're going to lose the game altogether. And it's a good thing they listened to us because the faction play was very popular. a lot of people were joining in. The map was constantly changing. It got to a point where you almost couldn't find a match. So if you couldn't find a match, you jump in quick play. No big deal. This was not available. Now, their idea was to have a Solaris button right here. To have a Solaris button, faction play button, and a quick play button. That was their idea. That's the way they really wanted this game. But us, the second beta tester, suggested not to make it permanent. We suggested not to make that permanent. So, as usual, that was a very good idea because there's a lot of people playing the faction play at that particular time. And if Solaris was in this game, nobody, and I mean nobody, would play faction play. Now, as you can see right now, there is nobody in faction play. So now is a very good time to reintroduce the Solaris part of the game. The Solaris part of the game is still in the game. They just flip the switch on it. So all they have to do is just flip the switch back on, and there it is. What they decided to do this time is make events. And during the events, they'll have different stuff, like 2 versus 2, 1v1, they'll have 3 versus 3. They'll have clan versus Innisphere, clan versus clan, Innisphere versus Innisphere, and they'll have them in the event queue. That's what they're doing these days. I think now it's 1 versus 1, but you get to choose up to 2 mechs. So if you die, you can come back with your second choice. So it's 1v1, you get to choose 2 mechs to take with you. That's what's going on right now. So the fact that they're introducing it in an event queue, I like this, because if the game starts to slow down, this will perk it up. So if everybody's sick, if nobody wants to do this, then this is available for those that want to do it. So, in my opinion, this was a very good call on that part, because it's slowly introducing Solaris 7 to the people. If the faction play is dead like it is right now, it's a very smart decision. It allows the game to keep going and not be shut down. Because a lot of people out there would be very sad if this game disappeared. A lot of people. So they would rather see more things get unlocked, including me, than see the game shut down. Me personally, I love faction play. Faction play, this is my all-time favorite in this game. I absolutely adore faction play. In fact, I have 2 drop decks. actually, I have 4 drop decks. I love this game. I love the faction play so much. I have 4 drop decks. I have a clan drop deck when I was with the clanners, and I have 3 IS decks. This is my Clan Wolf deck when I used to be in Clan Wolf. When I used to be in Clan Wolf during the beta test, I used this drop deck. The only thing is, I had 2 different mechs in this spot. These 2 got added when the Solaris 7 and the when the Solaris 7 and the mercenary pack came out. When the mercenary pack came out and Solaris 7 pack came out, I grabbed the Mad Dog and the Archer and joined it with the regular Mad Dog with the Shadow Cat and called it Clan. Now, my other drop decks were for different types, like assaults, defense. Now my main defense I used to use this one. My second defense I used this one. Now my offensive deck for IS was this one. And you guys probably thinking, an Osiris on an assault deck? Yes. The reason why is because I have an Irby in the defense decks. 2 Irbies. Offense, I have an Osiris. Reason why? Speed. When you're on offense, you have to get from your area and travel all the way to the enemy base as quickly as you can and keep up with the rest of the guys. And Osiris can scout ahead, far ahead of everybody else. So this is my scout for the assault missions. Now, if he dies, and there's a lot of people coming up ahead, there's one thing I like to do. If there's an ass ton of people up ahead, and there is a lot of people already engaged, I will take Archer, and I will provide artillery backup. Now, if by the time I'm dead, there's nobody up there, I will take the Uziel, because Uziel will be able to get there a little faster. Now, my final mech that I take is my slowest one, and that's my Atlas. The Atlas I take for assault missions is 60% laser and all the rest artillery or ammunition slash artillery weapons. This is the type of weapons I don't use. Me personally, I don't usually take. When you're on an assault mission, never take, you try not to take missiles when you're on an assault mission. Assault missions are only strictly guns. Try to stick with guns if you can, okay? That's one of the reasons why I have an Uziel. Uziel has quite a bit of energy absorption, and the Uziel has quite a bit of heat dissipation from its frame. The reason why is because of PPCs. Uziels are supposed to have dual PPCs. Now, on an Uziel, you never, even though you want to, but you never put an ERPPC, 2 ERPPCs on an Uziel. Ever. Because the heat it will generate is way beyond what that thing can handle. The best Uziel you could ever have is dual PPCs and dual ER medium lasers. All the rest. Do you mind? Thank you. All the rest are heat sinks and whatever else you can squeeze on there. Uziels are not rocket science. But the Uziel you have, it all depends on what you're using it for. Now, my Uziel, I only use it to take on faction play missions. So I set it up with faction play missions. I set it up for assault faction play missions only. Now the faction play is sort of like winding down, I'll say. Lately, I've been using it for quick plays. Now, the quick plays, where is it? It has to be here someplace. I know it's a medium for a fact. I know for a fact that it's a medium. There it is. Alright, now. An Uziel is meant to be 1, fast, 2, dual PPCs at all times. Always dual PPCs. You always have dual PPCs. As far as the lasers goes, it all depends on your it all depends on your preference. Personally, I use medium lasers, sometimes medium pulse lasers. I never use large lasers. Sometimes I'll use small lasers and I'll use more of them. So instead of using, see now, you have to understand this particular model, it doesn't have any more lasers. It doesn't have any sorry guys, I'm getting told that I have to turn it down. Sucks. Alright. Gonna have to get them. I really have to set this mic up on my gooseneck because this is not gonna work. I can't hold my mic like this. All right. What's this saying? All right. I have 2 medium lasers over here and 2 medium pulse lasers. The reason why I have pulse lasers up here is because the arms on the Uziel are very easy to aim for. Therefore, they're easy to destroy. So you want something that can generate less heat. A normal laser will generate more heat because the laser is out longer. Because the laser is out longer, it's going to generate more heat. A pulse laser will not generate as much heat because it's firing in pulses. So it has little chance of generating more heat. It still generates more heat, but it has little chance of generating more heat. All right, now I'm gonna put the mic down because now I'm gonna go out and do some gameplay for you guys. So here we go. All right. Now, the purpose of having this set up like this, let's show you guys something. The purpose of setting this up like this, now I have a mouse that has, some people don't, some people do. I have a mouse that has 4 buttons. So I can have up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 buttons on my mouse, which means I can have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. I have a 4-button mouse. I could have up to 4 weapons grouped together. Now, my first group is 2 medium lasers. My second group is the 2 medium pulse lasers. Now my third and final group, which is my thumb button, right there, is my dual PPCs. The reason why I have the thumb button on the dual PPCs is because dual PPCs, when fired, generate a tremendous amount of heat. What you want to do is you want to limit the amount of times you fire your dual PPCs. Always, especially in an Uziel. Uziels are not designed to dissipate heat. Even though you're putting heat sinks in there like crazy, the frames are not designed to dissipate heat as well as they should. The reason why is because of the way it's built. Now, you see, in Uziel, you could see it's kind of sealed. It really is sealed. The only part that doesn't look like it's sealed right there. That's it. All the rest of it looks like it's pretty sealed. Well, those don't look like they're sealed. These are where the jump jets are supposed to be. Uziel is supposed to have jump jets. But I took the jump jets off. You see, this mech was originally designed by House Davion, who was supposed to have 6 jump jets, dual PPCs, and dual lasers. That's it. That's all it was supposed to have. You're supposed to have a fast engine and 6 jump jets. That's the way an Uziel was originally designed. Now, if they had a prime version of the Uziel, that's exactly what it would have in it. You see, I have not seen a prime version of the Uziel in this game yet. I have not seen one yet. And if they haven't made one by now, they're never going to make one. The idea of creating new mechs and new variants of old mechs, not going to happen. At the very least, they might make a few clan mechs and a few IS mechs from the tail end, from the medium part of the Star League, maybe. They might generate some Star League mechs and call them IS mechs or clan mechs. There are a few mechs from the Star League that we haven't seen yet. They're not very good. They're mainly meant for reconnaissance, defense. They're kind of like the Atlas, except shaped differently. You see, House Steiner was really knows how to make the big heavy mechs. Most of the really big heavy mechs were made by House Steiner, and they're transferred to other houses. Most of the medium mechs were built by House Davion. Each house specializes in a size or a different type of mech. And what they do is they make and build mechs for different houses, and different houses swap and share different parts and different mechs. Now the clans only have the tech that they gained from the Wolf Dragoons mercenaries. All they have is the ultra tech that they gained from the Wolf Dragoons mercenary squad. Now the Wolf Dragoons mercenary squad, that is something very, very different. The Wolf Dragoons mercenary squad was a group of mechs and a group of mercenaries, part of the Star League. And they were Star League mercenaries, and their only job was to keep the Star League safe. So in a way, the clan, as we know it today, was the Wolf Dragoons mercenary squad. And the Wolf Dragoons, as we know it, are as follows. It was a vulture from House Davion, or a Star League vulture, I should say. It was a Night Stalker, and I believe the Night Stalker was House Curitas, I think. The Night Stalker. The Stalker, I don't exactly remember what faction the Stalker was from. But you have to understand the one thing. This was an Innisphere mech, the Stalker. But does this mech look familiar to you? I hope it does. The clans loved when the clans took over and they separated from the Star League. This mercenary squad moved over to the clans. They did not tell the Innisphere they're moving, but they slowly maneuvered their way to the clans. When they did, the clan took a look at that Stalker and went, you know what? We can make a mech like that. We could generate our own technology for it. Sure enough, they did just that. I don't own this mech at all, period. But from what I can tell, I think that is supposed to be the Stalker. Now, when the Timberwolf, you have to understand, the Timberwolf has been around since the Star League times. The Timberwolf is a very old mech. And so is the Stalker. So now think of it. As far as storyline goes, now, here's the question of the day. Here's one thing. I read most of the novels, and I didn't even know the answer of this one. Was the Timberwolf actually an IS made mech that they never built? That the clan said, you know what? That's ours. We're building this. Maybe the Stalker was the start of the mech. And the IS just decided, you know what? We're not going to build the rest. We're just going to build it. That and the shoulders. That's it. We're not going to add the arms. We don't need it. So therefore, technically, that is a Stalker. Really think about it. This could be a Stalker. A Stalker has this with no arms. This is a Stalker, and it's a heavy. The Stalker is a heavy. See? The Stalker's a heavy. Think about this. Look at this. And look at that. Looks awfully familiar, don't it? The clans took that Stalker that they got from the Innisphere and said, listen, there's going to be a point where this This mech is not going to be able to move. We're not going to be able to use anything with it. Because we can't get parts. So let's use it and make our own version of it. What about mechs that they never made? Does anybody know any? And of course, the Timberwolf was born. The Timberwolf is a stalker with arms. That's all it is. It's a heavy. Just like the Timberwolf is. It's a heavy. Heavy, heavy. The only difference is Timberwolf has arms. Stalker does not. And the fact of the matter is, this was a during the time of the Star League, this was a mercenary mech that at the time, clanners were using this mech during the time of the Star League. And when the Star League disbanded, that mercenary squad moved over to the clans. So the clans got all that tech. They got the Night Star, they got the Archer, they got the Stalker, and eventually, little by little, it broke down and they were unable to get parts. So they took the mech and made their own versions of it. Hence the Timberwolf and the Mad Dog. The Timberwolf and the Mad Dog were made based off of these IS mechs. This IS mech and that IS mech. Those two IS mechs were built off of the bare bones. Were built from bare bones of the Vulture. Because they only had one Vulture. And they could not steal a Vulture to get more parts for it. So all they could do is run it until it blows up. That's it. When the weapons ran out, take the weapons out and put in clan weapons. Which, that's pretty much what's in there. Because the weapons that were in there are not going to last forever. So they're going to have to put clan stuff in eventually. Now, it has a standard engine in there, obviously. But stuff like double heat cells, stuff like heat sinks, the missile launchers, ECMs, lasers, all clan tech. Had to. Because what happens is the IS tech breaks down. So now you know how the clanners got their hands on technology. They got their hands on technology from the Wolf Dragoons mercenary squad way back before the Star League. Interesting. That's a really interesting thing. That's quite interesting, actually, if you really think about it. Now, you have to understand, clans take whatever they can get. They can't, let's say a clan has a Vulture and they need parts. They're not going to call House Davion and say, listen, we need parts for our Vulture. You made it for us, we need parts for it. they're going to tell them you're a clanner. No dice. So, once this mech breaks down, it's done. So, they had to use, before this mech broke down, they had to make something to replace it. Hence, they made the Mad Dog. This mech was made to replace the Vulture. And replace it, it did. This, in my humble opinion, aside from one thing, this is better than the Vulture, except for one thing. You have to use, in this mech, you have no choice. You have to add cases in the entire mech with this particular mech, because this mech has 0 armor covering the missile launchers. The Vulture has those armored doors, and when you click launch, the doors open, the missiles launch, then the doors close. So you have those 2 armored doors that hinge upwards on a Vulture. Mad Dog does not have that. Why? I don't know. Oh, jeez, Louise. I'm getting pop-ups like crazy today. I don't know why. Okay. Now, as far as clan versus IS, the technology has clan technology if you look at it, it looks pretty much similar to IS, with the exception of one thing that doesn't take into consideration with this game. Clan tech is always missing one key component the IS tech has. But in this game, you can't tell the difference. But in reality, clan tech is always one step behind Innisphere tech. Innisphere missile launchers and missiles are always inferior. Clan lasers are always inferior, but they do not heat up as much as IS lasers do. Because they are inferior, they don't heat up as fast. IS mechs heat up twice as fast because the lasers and the PPCs are more efficient. They work better. So you have to understand there's certain things about these mechs that are better than other things. For example, let's take maybe we can try to think of something. Trying to think of something really big. I have a king crab? Jeez, I didn't know I had one. Now you'd think I would own a Night Stalker, an Innisphere Night Stalker, but nope, I don't. I only own the clan version, so why? I don't know. But I own a King Crab. I still to this day can't figure out where I got it from, but I own one. I think this came from a pack. Because it has no paint job, because it's bare metal, I think this came from a special pack. Because you can tell from the decals running up here, right there. And the red cockpit glass. See that right there? All that. You can tell this is not your average everyday King Crab. Now, King Crab is an Innisphere mech. Let's see what's so different about this, because I don't remember ever getting this one. This one has 2 ammunition slots on the right arm, 2 ammunition slots on left arm, 1 ammo slot on left torso. Right torso has 1 ammo slot. One AMS slot. Now, if you'll notice, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 standard heatsinks, which means I have 1, 2 double heat sinks, and 1 single heat sink. This mech only has 2 double heat sinks in it and 1 single heat sink. Now, to save tonnage in your mech, always try to use an engine that has heatsink slots in it. That's a very old mechwarrior trick. Try to use only engines that have heatsink slots built into it, because that saves you tonnage space. You insert a heatsink into an engine, it does not make you get heavier. It does not increase your tonnage. Why? Because the tonnage is automatically built in. So when you insert the heatsink into the slot, it doesn't make you heavier. Because all the weight of the engine is automatically included in those heatsinks. That's why you have no choice but to insert those heatsinks, because you're paying for the tonnage anyway. So my first tip of the day, always try your best to use an engine that has heatsink slots built into it, because that saves you well-needed space. It saves you well-needed space and well-needed tonnage. By saving space and keeping more open space, you can set ferrofibrous armor, endosteel structure, and then jack your armor up to its max. By doing so, able to get away with quite a bit actually. Now, if you'll notice, I'm not at max level, and really don't have enough to really put anything down. What we can do is find out what we have left in armor. You only have this left. So we're lacking in our rear armor and center torso. Okay, that's it. We don't have anything left to put in there. We're good. Looks like we're done. Save. Mech configuration is changed. Save. Okay, now keep in mind, I want you to keep this in the back of your head. A king crab is an inner sphere mech. Now, look at this mech. Which house could have built this mech? This is nothing the House Davion would make. Think of all the heavy assault mechs. Think of all the assault mechs the House Davion made. Davion made the Mauler. Davion made the Zeus. Davion made the Stalker. Davion made the Awesome. Steiner made the Atlas. And Steiner also made the Battlemaster. And I think they might have made the Banshee. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I do know for a fact House Kurita did make the Battlemaster, Hamato Chi, and the Charger. These three were House Kurita. House Kurita made those three. Oddly enough, you would never guess, but yes, they made those three. Now, the dragon, I don't know much about the dragon. The dragon does not look like a House Davion mech. Because I know most of the House Davion mechs. And that does not look like a House Davion mech. So, I'm assuming this could be one of the other houses. I do know the catapult is indeed House Davion. Catapult house is House Davion territory. Black Knight. Black Knight was made by House Davion. The Black Knight was supposed to be Davion's own personal mech. This was supposed to be a very special mech. Davion was supposed to, the head of Davion was supposed to be able to pilot this thing. This was supposed to be a very special mech. Now, if you could find the prime version of this, that was supposed to be his configuration. The prime version of the Black Knight was the original configuration of the Black Knight. Now, the Black Knight was, like it is now, all black. Obviously, it was all black. And on the shoulder, it had House Davion, right there on the shoulder. Unfortunately, I have a smiley face on it, so that's nice. The reason why I didn't put House Davion on the shoulder was because I have a Davion flag, mounted behind. Now, missile boats, you would see flags on missile boats. You never see flags on assault or fast mechs, ever. I decided to put flags on only the mechs that go out on assault missions or defense missions. So, if I'm not sure, or I don't know how a mech is supposed to go, I will set that mech up for faction play missions. Now, faction play missions, a mech has to be set up a specific way, depending on whether you're doing offense or defense. So you're going to have to buy specific mechs, specific variants, to make it do what you want it to do. For example, the Black Knight can be used for an assault because it's heavy. You can use the Black Knight for an assault. But it's not, because it's not an assault mech, it has some speed added to it. So therefore, all you have to do is make sure it has at least a 300 horsepower engine. Make sure it has a decent engine so it can go fast, or swiftly I should say, so that this way the mech can travel faster and not lag behind. So if you are indeed on a faction play mission and you are on an assault mission, you're going to want to set up a Black Knight similar to what I have set up right here, with the similar variant. Set up almost the same way. Make sure you have cases. Black Knights, a lot of their torsos and their arms are close together, if not touching. Make sure you have cases on everything on the Black Knight. Make sure you have cases. I should have a case right here. This should be case protected. Why it's not, I don't know. Maybe I have to take something off. I think I'm gonna have to take something off. See, now this is hard, because how do you take something off when everything is already balanced? So now we know we have to be very careful with the torso, because the torso is very vulnerable. The torso is extremely vulnerable. The frontal armor is not in triple digits, which worries me. But this is a heavy non-assault. So the head is kind of big, and it's only 19 armor. So We do have an endo steel structure, but we only have standard armor. If we had ferrofibrous armor, all this would be locked and these 3 slots would be open. So now, ferrofibrous armor takes up more slots. Whenever you're setting up your mech entirely, always remember, ferrofibrous armor takes up more slots than endo steel structure does. Endo steel structure takes up only 3 to 4 structure slots. Three, 4, maybe 1. Ferrofibrous armor takes up at least 15 or 20. But ferrofibrous armor reduces the weight more. It reduces the weight so significantly that you have twice as much tonnage available to you. So if you have literally no armor on, then add ferrofibrous armor and double and triple the armor count, and you should be okay. Now, if we wanted more armor on this one, we could remove endo steel structure and add ferrofibrous armor. We could do that. Therefore, by doing so, we would have the ability to add more armor to the core. That is a little trick that you can do if you're having trouble getting your mech to balance out. Certain things use up more space than others. Ferrofibrous armor takes up more space in the mech. Endo steel takes up less space but gives you more weight. So you're giving up one to gain another. Technically, you want less weight. So technically, you should always have the ferrofibrous armor and never have the endo steel. But by doing so, you are quite possibly jamming up your mech with all these gray spots. You're not leaving anything open to slide in cases. Because don't forget, cases use up a slot, but no tons. Remember, there are things in this game that take up slots that use no weight. You have to pay very close attention. Cases use 0 weight. So I can insert a case. There's a case in there. Case in there. I can put a case. See, we can't put a case in there because a dynamic structure slot. This is an endo steel structure slot right here. This is part of the endo steel structure slot. If something has weight to it, you could insert something in this. Because this is a case that has no tonnage to it, you cannot insert this into the slot. Why? Because this is center torso slot. Center torso slots, the item has to have weight to it in order for it to be inserted into the torso. That is the rule. That's been the rule for decades, which means you cannot put a case in the center torso unless the mech allows you to. Now we can put a case in legs. That we can do. Again, it doesn't use any tonnage, so why not? But then again, we have the big problem with the center torso. The center torso now is not maxed out with weight. So again, how are we going to solve this problem? Well, we could go with fair fibrous. We could go with light fair fibrous. We could go with fair fibrous armor. Fair fibrous armor is going to take up a lot more slots. See? Look at all those slots it took up. That's a lot. That's a lot of slots, guys. Now you have to understand, fair fibrous armor is a lighter, fair fibrous armor takes up more space, but it's supposed to be a lighter armor. Unfortunately, it's not lighter because we're overweight. Now, think. When we had endosteel structure, the bones of the mech were endosteel. So we were definitely okay. We have nothing, we're overweight. When we have endosteel structure, we're fine. What does that mean? That means that fair fibrous armor is heavier than endosteel structure. Endosteel structure is like having the bones of a mech made from titanium versus iron or steel. It's a little bit more rigid and a little lighter. Titanium is a much better metal than steel. That's endosteel structure. Endosteel is like having the bone made out of titanium. Now, the fair fibrous armor is supposed to use less points. %6 more protection per ton occupies 7 critical slots but weighs less. 12% more protection per ton occupies 14 critical slots but weighs less. Standard battle mech armor that provides 32 points of protection per ton. So you really have to pay very close attention, stop and read very carefully what the difference between each of them are. Never jump right into a mech. Always read very carefully and decide what that particular mech needs. What does it have available to it? What slots are available? What slots are not available? What does this mech need that you don't already have in it? What do you have on it that can go away? Now we need an engine that has heatsink slots built in. So we can't go below a 300. So the engine we have right now, we can use an XL engine. We can use that. We have to use an XL 300. If we do that. We cannot go below 300 because we need those heatsink slots. Remember, if we didn't have this engine in, we would have to put these two heatsink slots in this mech. And therefore, they would go here and here. So we might be able to pull it off. In fact, let's give it a shot. Let's see if this works. Okay, now we're going to toss in 2 double heat sinks. Whoops. Something's wrong. See what I mean? These were structure slots. When we filled in those structure slots, it's a permanent structure slots. Those are temporary structure slots. Watch. As soon as you remove it, slots are back. These are part of the structure of the mech. This is part of the industrial structure. You can put something in these slots, but you absolutely positively need these 6 slots for the industrial structure. So you can only use 3 out of the 6 slots, which means you need an engine that has 2 heatsink slots in it. You have to have that. If you do not have an engine that has 2 slots built in, it's not going to work. So now and by doing so, the dynamic structure slots are still intact. You still have your structure slots. Nothing's taken out. You're good. You can put something in there. Your tonnage is too much. So this mech, totally fine. You're good. Save it and you're good. That's a little trick I learned a long time ago. If you need X amount of heat sinks, and you have endo steel, keep in mind that you need a certain amount of structure slots open in order for the endo steel to actually work. And if you use up the dynamic structure slots, it's going to permanently set up it's going to set up a permanent structure slot in the if you use up the last three or the last, I think if you were to put a case here, these two would be structure slots. I think if you use up a certain amount of dynamic structure slots, all the rest turn into regular structure slots. Now, see these structure slots right here? These were dynamic structure slots. The reason why they say structure slot is because this, and this got placed in here. If I take this, and this out, see that? Now it's open. Now, as you can see, one, two, three, four, five. We only have 5 empty slots on this side, which means double heat sink. All right. Okay. We have our double heat sink, and we have our laser AMS in, and we have our dynamic structure slots. And sure enough, our regular structure slots are back. Why? Because we took up this and this space, so it has to make this permanent now. So the more dynamic structure slots you use, the more permanent structure slots it's going to set up. So now the only empty slots I have in this mech right now is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. 4. The only empty slots I have in this mech is 4. These, you try not to put anything in these because those are your dynamic structure slots. Anything that says this, try your best not to put anything in there. Try to leave those empty. Try to use this, that, or that. If you need one more heat sink, right there. Take the case out, slide the double heat sink in, you're good. Now if you're gonna use this, be prepared. 3 slots are going to be made structure slots. If you put this here, that's going to be permanent. And only that will be open. If you put the case here, and you enter this here, that might work. But still, it might work. You can't do that because you don't have the tonnage. You're at max. But let's say you weren't at max. That's one thing you can do. If you had to put in one more double heat sink, only one You only need to do one more. That's what you can do. You just slide it in here and let this get taken up, or take the case out, put the case in here, which you still can do, because technically this is case protected and this is not. That should be case protected. Technically, this should always stay protected. Always. Always try to put a case in each of your torsos. Because 90% of the time, you're not going to be able to put anything in your... Most cases will not allow you to put them in the center torso. I don't know why. Some torsos allow you to insert it in, some do not. Now, if you have the tonnage, you can insert the double heat sink and you're good. Unfortunately, we don't have the tonnage, so we can't put the double heat sink in, even though we have the space. Because if we do put the double heat sink in here, it's going to take up 3 slots here, which means that's going to be what this is going to be full. That's going to have double heat sink in it. Then 1 slot open here and 3 slots open here. So we could put this here or that there. Now, think of it, we have double heat sink. Think of it this way. Look at our mech right now. We have, where are the heaters? I call them heaters. Where are the heaters in this mech? These two, these two, these two, and those two. This is for this. This is for this. This is for this. So this should be right there. It should be, but it's not. Why is it not there? Because we don't have the weight tonnage. But not to worry, because we have a double heat sink right there, so this is for that. So technically, we do not need, if we wanted to use, if we technically wanted to use a lower powered engine, we could put in one double heat sink right there, and maybe, hopefully, pray that this won't fill up. Because this could fill up. Because this, so now 3. So by having 3 here and 3 here, we could put in 1, 2, 3. Put a heat sink right there. Okay. Now this will fill up. This and this. Then we could put another heat sink here Now by putting one heatsink here, this one's going to fill up this and that. So we could remove this engine and put in a lower powered engine and put the two double heat sinks here and here, and will still fit. We do not need the 300 horsepower engine with the heat sinks built in. We can fit those heat sinks in without any of that. It could very easily be worked around. You have to look very carefully at the mech and think. If we're taking up 3 structure slots, 3 more slots are going to be taken up by the structure. So 9 times out of 10, whatever we put in here is going to switch here. If we're taking up these 3 slots, then that means 3 slots will be taken here. If we're taking up slots here, we're going to get slots taken over here. Because these slots automatically fill up first. Because this is where the structure slots are starting to build up. So this is where the dynamic structure slots are filling up first. So if you're going to put in something anywhere, put it here first. Because this is where it's going to fill up first. So you're going to slide in your double heat sink in here first. Then by doing that, it's going to fill up 3 slots. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you'll have this open to slide it in the second double heat sink. So therefore you could have a lower engine in if you really want to and still have the same amount of heat sinks. That's why in this game you really have to take your time, spend less time fighting and more time figuring out how to snake things in. Of course, don't finalize it unless you're absolutely positively sure that it's what you want. Now, we already made changes. We don't want to make any changes to this mech at all, period. We're just farting around. So next what we're going to do is we're just going to go and it's going to go back to its original, and it goes back to its original thing that I had set it for. So this is its original thing we had it set for. So that's one thing you can do. Now you have to understand. Let's look at the clan tech next. How about Hellbringer? This could work. Now clan tech and IS are completely different. Clan tech, you could change out parts from other mechs. See this? This allows you to change heads, torsos, arms, legs from other variants and add it to this variant. So if you want a Hellbringer that's 100% of something and nothing of other things, you can do that. The only thing you can't swap, I don't think, is center torso. Because that has to stay where it is. Now, we have all lasers on this. Except for this. Well, we don't have anything on this one. Now, let's see what heads we have available. The variants we have available right now, we have one variant that has one laser. Another variant that has nothing. Another variant has nothing. Another variant that has one laser. Now, this could work out in our favor. It could. But I don't think it's going to work because we already have a 325 engine and 3 double heat sinks in here. And inside the engine. That's crazy. And the weight is maxed. So the head is not going to give us, using a different head is not going to release tonnage. It's going to leave, it's going to be the same amount of tons. So if we have no room for something, then why bother? If you have extra room, then by all means, swap the omnipods for something you can use the tonnage a little more for. That's what omnipods are for. For example, if I were to show you guys my Mad Dog, that'd be a perfect example. My Mad Dog is far from stock. This Mad Dog is definitely far from stock, I should say. This is a Mad Dog A torsos, left and right torsos. Mad Dog Prime, left and right arm. The Mad Dog Prime, left and right leg. The Mad Dog Prime head. And the Mad Dog, and this is a Mad Dog B, so this has its own center torso. So now what I did was, the only part of this mech that's the Mad Dog, that is the Mad Dog B, is center torso. It has a prime head, prime arms, with the A variant torsos and the prime legs. Clan Tech, you could swap the omnipod, swap the parts for other variants. I wanted the legs that had better armor. At least a higher number of armor. So Clan, different variants have different armor levels as far as the Clan Tech goes. So you have to be very careful what heads and what torsos or whatever you put on. Now the Mad Dog A variant is very low in armor. But I only use Mad Dog A right and left torso. That's it. Everything else was the high armor Mad Dog Prime. See? Everything else has the high armor type. So, I'm not really too worried. But the Mad Dog B doesn't have a lot of general armor. So, it is what it is. You have to understand different variants. Different variants are built for different purposes. Some of them are built for assault missions. Some of them are built for capture missions. Some of them are built for support missions. The Mad Dog B was made for assault missions. Not assault missions, support missions. The Mad Dog A was meant for defensive missions. The Mad Dog would stay behind the walls and lob shots over the walls. That's what Mad Dog A does. So the Mad Dog A has less armor because it needs to have less armor to have more room for missiles and ammunition. Both. Now I have 3 launchers of 5 with only 2 racks of armor. That's not a lot of armor, so therefore we don't have a lot of shots. But I'm not expecting it to last that. I'm not expecting this thing to live that long. So, clan mechs, I never expect them to live long enough. So, that's just the way things are. I never expect a clan mech to live that long. Never expect a clan mech to live that long. They just need to go in, do the job you built them to do. If they did it, then good job. You never build a mech to kill everything on the field. You have to build a mech to do one task. If you build it to do one task and it does it, you did a good job. Clan mechs are built. They have omnipods. You could build them to do one task and only one task the best. See, IS mechs, you have to buy every single variant. Clan mechs, you only need to buy one variant and buy the omnipods for what you want. So you'll save money by just using clan mechs. If you don't have a lot of money, then buy one clan mech and buy the variants and buy the variant omnipods that you want to swap in with that mech with. So that's it. Just some tips that I learned along the way. So just for you guys, just some tips. You have to really understand playing IS. I like playing IS probably for the reason why I like playing IS, because IS mechs are built. They're built the way they are. You cannot take them apart. You can't redo them. You purchase the mechs to have different variants. I like purchasing different mechs and making them work the way they are. I have clan mechs. I built them exactly the way I want them to be built. Therefore, I don't need to buy a ass ton of clan mechs. I don't need to. Why? Because why should I purchase all these variants and waste my money if I could just buy the Omnipods and swap the pods? In a sphere, you have to buy the variants. You have to buy the different variants. You have no choice. If you're in clan, buy one of each mech and buy the Omnipods you want for that particular mech. That's it. If you don't want to spend a lot of money on this game, stick with clan. If you don't care, stay mercenary. If you really got money to spend, you want to really grind the hell out of it, you want to get all the variants, then stick with Inner Sphere. Because Inner Sphere, you have no choice. You need the variants. For example, 1, 2, 3 different Zeus variants. I have 3 different Zeus variants. Each of them have different loadouts. Each of them is made for a different type. One of them has 4 lasers and 1 ammunition. One of them has an ammunition, a missile, an AMS, 3 lasers, and a targeting computer. So that can be used long range. This one has only lasers in it. That's it, all lasers, only lasers. It is the ER large, 2 ER large lasers, 2 ER small lasers, 1 binary laser cannon. And the reason why you have the binary laser cannon on here is because there's supposed to be a quirk for it here. There used to be a quirk for it. There used to be a quirk for laser weapons on this variant back in the old days. I don't know. I don't see it. There used to be a quirk for it back in the old days. Maybe in the Prime version. Let me check the Prime version. Because I don't have the Prime version. One of these days I probably should pick up the Prime version of that. The Prime version of the Zeus is really something to take a look at. I don't think that's a Prime variant. No, that's not the Prime. They don't. I think that's the Prime variant. K variant, that's the M variant, that's the Y variant, that's the YA variant, KC variant. One ballistic, 4 energy, 2 missile, and 1 AMS. So this is pretty well rounded all around. So this one in particular is your more well rounded. This is how the Prime mech should look. If they had a Prime version of this mech, this would be the Prime version. The Prime version always has a little bit of everything. It's kind of like the Prime version is the MacGyver of the mech variants. It has a little bit of everything. Not a lot, a little bit. It's a master of none, but it has a little bit of everything. The Prime versions are always the most sought after because people always like having the ability to use different things in it. Most people really do enjoy having a variety in their mech because you never know. Now, allow me to show you guys something. Trying to find a Prime version. I don't think they really sell them. I think they give away the Prime version. I don't think they sell them. Yeah, there's not a lot of Prime versions. It's a shame. The Prime versions are my favorites. So, here's a Prime version. Here's a Summoner Prime. Summoner Prime is going to have see? One ballistic, one energy, one missile. Well-rounded. A prime mech always has a little bit of everything. Prime mechs are never masters at one thing, but they are good MacGyver mechs. If you're new to this game and you want a mech that has everything so you can just try it, look for the Prime mechs. Always look for the Prime mechs. Always. The Prime mechs are perfect mechs for people who are just starting out in the game. If they have them available in the store, pick them up just to try them. So you can try out the different weapon types, see what weapon type you prefer. Do you prefer energy? Do you prefer ballistic? Or do you prefer missile? The thing is, you have to really, really keep an eye. You have to really kind of try your best to keep an eye out for the Prime mechs because they're very hard to find. In mechwarrior Online, the Prime mechs are rarely sold. The Prime mechs are usually given away. They usually give them away. The one thing Piranha got right is the fact that most of the Prime mechs, most of the original Prime mechs are not for sale. Most of them are given away. Why? I don't know. They just feel like if they're gonna give away a mech, let's give away a Prime mech because nobody has Prime mechs. For example, the current free mech event. I believe they're giving away a Bushwhacker. It's not Bushwhacker Prime. Bushwhacker Prime they probably already gave away, my guess. So this is Bushwhacker XI. This is a definitely different. This is a different variant than I'm used to. So I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that variant. I'm guessing they probably made it up, something like that. So I assumed that they would have Panther. It's not a Prime. Sometimes, once in a while, you will see them give away a prime mech. Once a blue moon, you'll see a prime mech. Fireball. Fireball doesn't sound familiar. I actually don't remember getting that. Fireball. Now I'm curious. Now I want to check out. I don't remember ever getting a fireball. Fireball. That doesn't sound familiar at all. Maybe it's a light mech? Fireball. No. Speed of fireball. We do have Kitbox Prime. I have the Urbies. I have the gigantic army of Urban mechs. I have the twins. Those are the clans. The only bushwhacker I have is this one. Which is, I think, this is a different variant than what I have. This is X2. The other one's an X1. So, this is different than what I have. And what I have is more or less well-rounded. So this might be more ballistic. But I'm guessing that one is probably more, the one that free mech to giving away is probably more ballistic. Because this one is well-rounded. This had 3 ballistic. This one had 3 ballistic, 2 energy, 3 missile, 1 AMS, no ECM. What the other one might have, an ECM attached to it with less energy and 1 less missile. They could have that. It could be like an electronic warfare mech. So, although not all the bushwhackers had ECMs in them. So, this might be one of the special ones. So, this bushwhacker might be worth trying for. If you have the ability to do so, this one might be worth it. Like I told you, I don't know anything about the variants. I'm not familiar with the variants. I mean, I have X2, and mine's well-rounded. So mine's one of the best variants around. This is X1. This is the variant before mine. And mine's well-rounded. So that could be anything. That could be electronic warfare mech. It could have more ballistics. It could have more lasers and less missiles. It could be anything. It could be anything. Whacker in the weeds, is they call it. I don't know. I just don't know. It's odd. All I know is that bushwhackers are meant for a mobile defense or a mobile offense. This mech cannot hold its ground. This mech has to be moving at all times. Okay, guys? The legs of a bushwhacker are very weak. So naturally, people are going to aim for the bushwhacker's legs at all times. Why? I don't know. Legs are the weak spots at all times. The legs are always the weak spots. Here, here, and here are the weak spots of this mech. Right there. You aim for there, done for. Aim for right there, done for. The hinges are exposed in this mech. See that? The hinge? If you can aim for it, it's small, but you'll kill it 3 times quicker. That's why a bushwhacker has to be moving constantly. So you cannot have small engines in the bushwhackers. They have to have big high horsepower engines, less missiles. The first thing you do is you strip a bushwhacker of everything. Put a top engine in it. Put in a decent amount of armor. Then put in your weapons. Everything has to be set up first, then the weapons. Bushwhackers have to be set up a certain way because they have to be moving. They are medium type mechs that should move like their lights. The reason being is because their joints are exposed on all their limbs, arms and legs. The joints are exposed and the joints are very sensitive. You have to be very careful. Bushwhackers are very easy to kill. Never face here or there. Always face here or face there. Always aim at somebody here. Make sure they see this and this. Make sure your enemy never sees that or that. If they see either one, you're dead. You're done for. The strongest part of a bushwhacker is when you're facing the enemy like that. When you're facing the enemy like that, that's your strongest armor. Armor is strongest here, 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 and there. It's weakest here, 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 and right there. And then back, the entire back is weak. Arm joints are weak. Leg joints are weak. So, it may have numbers, but there are weak spots. They don't tell you when you play the game, but there are weak spots that they never expose. So, keep this in mind. When you play this game, keep an eye on your weak spots. Make sure you have camouflage that can hide the obvious weak spots. Make sure you have a decent enough camouflage that's hard to spot the weak spots. Because the game does not show you what the weak spots are. They have to guess and aim. So if they can't shoot you, they're going to take a random shot at you. And if they can take a random shot at you, they won't be able to spot you. Random pot shots while you're running, they're going to get lucky and hit something. If they hit an arm, they're probably going to hit an arm or a leg. Maybe. And it'll do a significant amount of damage because the arms and legs don't have a lot of armor attached to them. If you're running, they're either going to hit an arm or a leg. If they're lucky, they might hit the core. If they're lucky. So, alright guys, I think we're going to call an episode. So I'll really enjoy if you guys could right now hit the like button if you can. Please subscribe to this channel if you could. Would really appreciate you guys if you do that for me right now. This channel, I'm drowning at this point because I need subscribers. In order to actually do anything in this game, in order to do anything with YouTube, I need subscribers. I cannot go into new games. I cannot go into fun games that you guys want to see. I can't get into fun content you guys want to do unless I make money. Because I'm going to use that money and to put it right back into the channel and right back into my videos. Because right now I have nothing to put in my videos. Nothing. I have to play all the free games. So I still will start getting into the paid games as soon as this channel gets monetized. So if you can, please subscribe, like, and comment. Share the video if you could also. I really would appreciate it. And if you really do enjoy content from this game, I really would appreciate if you guys comment down below and let me know that you enjoy content from this game. And if you could play it more often, I really would appreciate it. Because I never know what you guys want to see more often, so I play a little bit of everything once a week. If you guys mention anything, any positive comments, I will play that game more often, regardless of what the comment that makes it says. I will play it more often. If the company is giving me a hard time, I'll tell them to go screw a duck, and I'll play it for you guys. As far as this company goes with me, zero. I get nothing from these guys, and I expect nothing from these guys. I was a beta tester, and I expect nothing from these guys. Nothing. And I get nothing in return. Even though I'm doing videos for them, they still don't appreciate them. They never appreciate the videos I do. And I don't expect them to. I do videos on this game because I like playing this game in general. I enjoy playing this game. This game is fun. To me, this game is a lot of fun. This game has been fun since day one. Since I did the beta testing, for the second beta testing, this game was considered fun. My only friends that played this game left this game 6 years ago. So I am in my clan all by myself. I'm down to 2 members of my clan. I had 30 members in my clan. All of them left the game completely except for one. So I have 2 members left in my clan. Only 2 members still play this game out of 30. That's not a lot. So, it is what it is, guys. You have to understand, my friends who play this game love playing the faction play. I love playing faction play. Faction play is dead. For example, let's go back into faction play and see if it's still dead. It's been 2 hours. 2 hours has gone by. Nobody. Faction play is officially dead. So now is the time when Piranha keeps faction play and starts introducing. They're going to have to introduce Solaris 7. They're going to have the Solaris 7 button right there, or have the event queues lit up more often. Because if they don't, the game's gonna die. Because over the long period of time this game has been active, faction play has been absolutely swamped. Faction play was the most important thing, was the most popular thing in this game. Now, people are tired of playing faction play because it's been around for so long. Now they want to try something different. So now is the time where Piranha should start introducing Solaris 7 into this game. You have to understand, Solaris 7 was never part of this game, ever. Even when the game first started, before I played this game, faction play was still a thing, and it was jammed. Before I started playing, my friend played this game, and I used to come over his house and to watch him. I didn't have a computer back then, and I used to watch him play this game. He used to play faction play all the time. It was jammed. You couldn't find a spot in faction play. It was huge. Faction play has been around for a long ass time. It really and truly has. It's been around for a very long time. So it's had such a long run. I am very proud to say that if it's just dying now, that's awesome. Because faction play has been around for so damn long. They never needed Solaris 7 to be active. Now that faction play is starting to die down, now and more than ever, Solaris 7 should be introduced. And now it is. When you push the event queue and you see something like this, this is Solaris 7. Except it doesn't say Solaris 7 now. This is event queue. So instead of having Solaris 7 button, they have events set up. Well, they have different stuff set up for different events. So this is their way of slowly sliding Solaris 7 into the game and getting more people back to playing the game, so people don't, original veterans like me don't leave the game. So that is what's happening with the game. That's as far as I can tell. As far as my observations, and that's it. I wasn't told anything by them. They don't tell me anything. This is based off of my observations of the game. Out of my observations, quick play is not dying. Quick play is never going to die. Faction play is slowly fading. Now, because faction play is slowly fading, Slayer 7 needs to slowly come back, little by little. And they are slowly coming back because event queue is popping up more often. The fact that the event queue is popping up more often, that allows them to introduce different Slayer 7 events like 1v1, 2v2, 3 versus 3, 8 versus 8. Technically, you want to get technical, you could do an 8 versus 8. They have maps. In mechwarrior Online, there are maps in this game where you could fit 8 versus 8. I'm dead serious. You can fit 8 versus 8. Quick play. Quick play is close to 8 versus 8. I mean, if you really think about it. Quick play battles are pretty much 8 versus 8. If you want to think about it. It might be less than that, but I think it's close. But I mean, they used to back in the old days have tremendous amount of battles with tremendous amount of mechs in each battle. It was huge, and those are part of the faction play battles. To take the final. If you wanted to take the final, it's better to show you guys than explain it. My brain, at this point in the night, my brain starts to fall apart. If you want to take a faction, you want the faction to go away, you have to take every property they own, and then the last thing you take, their capital. When I first started, the battle for the capital city was the absolute largest battle ever. It was like a 10v10. It was insane. The amount of players you had to have active in order to take that city was insanity. You had to have 20 people logged into faction play to take and defend that one capital. And if that capital got taken by the clans, every property was owned by clans. And that faction, everybody that was in that faction became a mercenary instantly. That's what happens if you take the state capital. Everybody who's in that faction becomes a mercenary automatically. That's one reason why you absolutely cannot allow them to take a state capital. And I'm telling you right now, Free Wrestle Hog is awful fucking close. I mean, Clan Ghost Bear is right here. The state capital is right here. So I mean, there's really not much wiggle room here. Free Russell Hog has no wiggle room. Clan Ghost Bear sniffing up their butt cracks. See? These two are owned by Clan Ghost Bear. All Clan Ghost Bear has to do. See? This is all Clan Ghost Bear. That's Free Russell Hog. All Clan Ghost Bear has to do is take this one, this one, this one, And then the battle for the capital begins. The clan that takes the capital is the clan that owns all that territory. So all the other clans lose their stake. All the other clans and all the other IS houses that took their territories, everyone loses. All you have to do is take the capital, and everyone loses their stake instantly. And everything goes to the clan or IS that takes that territory. So if, let's say, let's just say House Steiner defended Free Russell Hogg's territory, right? Let's say their state capital was under attack. There was no members of Free Russell Hogg. It was all House Steiner defending. House Steiner would not take over their country. Instead, the entire area would go right back to Free Russell Hogg. Except for one planet. One planet. One single planet would be owned. Automatically be owned by House Steiner. House Steiner would own outright one planet because they defended the whole territory. So therefore, one planet was owned by House Steiner. Everything else got given back to them. So anybody that participates in the defense of this capital, that house gets one planet to keep. That is the reason why other houses join in defense and make sure the capitals are not taken. Because if one capital is taken, the clans automatically move to another house. And if Free Russell Hogg falls, what's the next house? What's the next house? Kirita's next. And if you think about it, they only have 5 more planets, including the state capital, makes 6. 6 more planets. There's really nothing left. The clans took over the entire system. 6 planets remain. So naturally, they're not going to take over yet. Instead, they're going for the jugular and heading for House Kurita. What they're going to do is they're going to take over as much as they can from House Kurita next. And then once everybody's territory is down to almost nothing, then they'll finally go for the capitals, the state capitals. One at a time, they'll go for the state capitals. Once all the territories have been taken over, they'll go for the state capitals. And that you need 20 people in order to do one battle to determine who keeps the entire country and who gets the hell out. So anybody that claims a planet can have Free Russell Hogg, whether it's with Jade Falcon, or Clan Wolf, or Clan Ghost Bear, or House Steiner. Anybody that defends their territory or attacks, that claims, it all goes back to free Rasselhag if they defend it. Except the houses that participated in the defense of their home country, each house is granted one planet to keep for themselves. As a thank you gift for helping to defend their state capital. That's the way things go in this game. That's the way things go in Battletech anyway. So that's the way things went in the Battletech universe anyway. So faction play is not that complicated, but in a way, it is pretty complicated if you think about it. Faction play is different. I'll say that. It's definitely different. What I am worried about is the fact that they're going to take House Kurita. And I don't want that to happen. So, I have a funny feeling that people on the overnights, Europeans, are the ones that are doing the faction play. The Europeans are the people that are doing the faction play. Still. And slowly but surely, the clanners are starting to take this territory. And eventually they're going to take the entire thing. And not a damn thing us Americans can do about it because there's nobody here. This is the part about faction play I don't like. Because if you want to defend the territory, you can't because nobody else is on here. Nobody else wants to defend the territory. Nobody else gives a crap. Which bothers me because I want to defend territory and I can't. Because if you do, all you're gonna get is that. That's all you're gonna get. Non-stop. Other competitors in queue, 0, 0. Now it says time to launch. If that hits 0, we're going to wait until that timer hits 0. When that's 0, I want you to see what happens when it's 0. Watch this. When it's 0, you're gonna laugh your ass off. Because you're gonna be sitting there going, and tell me why I sat here for 30 seconds. Tell me again why I sat there for almost a minute. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Getting ready for launch. Nope. Reset. That's what happens. Sit there and wait the whole time and it goes, nope. If you have nobody here, don't bother sitting there. Nobody's going to know you're even in there. Nobody knows you're sitting there. Nobody knows. Unless there's some other way they could find out that you're in there that they never told me about. But in the end, they don't know. Okay, let's see. Something's flashing down there. I'll take care of it. Alright, now. Alright, guys. It's been about, I'd say about 2 hours. So, I think we're going to call it. Thank you again for tuning in to this week's broadcast. Really wholeheartedly appreciate you guys. Please take a minute to like the video, Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when videos get released. Also when live streams get set up. Also, if you can share the video with your friends and try to help me get more subscribers, because I only have 8 subscribers currently, and I desperately need your help. If you can help me out, I really would greatly appreciate it. Thank you again. Again, I will do games that I will definitely do games that cost money. Only if my channel gets monetized will I actually be able to do games that cost money. Because if I don't make money in this game, I can't spend money. Because I have 0 income, guys. Nothing. I have no money coming in. Nothing. So this is my only source of income, and therefore I make nothing from this game. So if you could help me out, I really would appreciate it if you did. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time. Tune in on Sunday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for my live stream. For now, I'm on PlayStation Network. For how long, I don't know. We will see how long PlayStation 4 actually has the live streams available. If they continuously have the live streams available, I will be on PlayStation Network. Otherwise, I'll be on PC. Thank you very much. All your time, all your patience. Like, subscribe, and comment, and share. Thank you very much. Have a very nice night. A very good weekend, by the way. A very good weekend. See you guys later.